You basically hear this everywhere at this point, that money cannot buy happiness. From memes to tweets that reject this notion, we are now left to ponder. Does having more money bring more happiness? If we had more money, would that make us happier? Yes and no. It depends on the situation. In this video, I'll investigate the link between monetary success and contentment, as well as looking into some studies about the subject. And here's hoping that you'll be able to provide satisfactory responses to those queries on your own. Number 1. Making more money does not necessarily mean more happiness. A Daniel Kahneman study from 2010 revealed that earning more than $75,000 per year didn't increase happiness in daily life in North America. Up to a point, money does contribute to overall happiness, but once you're comfortably middle class, extra money is unlikely to make your ordinary day any happier. Of course, it must be mentioned that $75,000 is the average amount and that it may be greater or lower depending on where you reside. In an expensive city like San Francisco, more money will be required to meet your needs. However, if you reside somewhere considerably more affordable, making $30,000 can already be sufficient. Not to mention that since this study was conducted in 2010, the dollar's value has decreased somewhat as a result of inflation. Therefore, as time goes on, this number will continue to rise. Number 2. $1 million a year is not a lot of money. Believe it or not, $1 million is not a lot of money. Millions of dollars are not as valuable today as they once were. If I only get my hands on $1 million, I'll without a doubt be set for life, has always been the mindset. People do not, however, realize that money loses value annually. Even those making $1 million today will attest that it isn't quite as much as most people believe. Being a millionaire today is easier than it was in the past. Millionaires are emerging from nowhere these days. So, if earning $1 million is all you want, reconsider. Money is continually losing value, so don't be satisfied with the mill. Aim much higher. When you do get your $1 million, buy a piece of land with that money that you can later turn into a farmland or a spot for your business. Buy that food truck you've always wanted and start your own food business. Turn your $1 million into assets now so that you can earn your next million a lot easier. Number 3. Having a larger salary than your colleagues actually makes us happier. This may sound petty and self-explanatory, but hear me out for a second. Let's imagine you submitted an application for a position at a business you've always yearned to work for. Positions A, B, and C are the 3 available options, and each one has a distinct salary. Your salary in job A would be $40,000 per year, while that of your coworkers would be $20,000. In job B, you would be paid $50,000 and everyone else in the office would be paid the same amount. However, everyone else in that department would be making $120,000 while you in position C would only make $60,000. Which pay would you choose to optimize your happiness? Position C would be a mistake for you to select. Despite the fact that you would earn the most money, this option would make you the least happy. The best option is A if your goal is to be as happy as possible. You would be performing better than your coworkers in comparison to them. Part of the satisfaction in having money or success comes from knowing that not everyone can equal you. Although it may seem trivial, it's simply human nature. We enjoy evaluating how we compare to other individuals. Number 4. Ideas are useless if they are not put into practice. Without action, what good is an idea? Just about nothing. There are many people who have ideas that could develop into something significant and profitable. The issue is that not many people carry them out. You have a fantastic idea, but what are you going to do with it? Because they follow through on their ideas, wealthy individuals prosper. They devise a strategy and implement it. It might succeed or it might not. But if you don't take action, how will you ever find out? Facebook, Google, and TikTok all have a trait that helped them defeat MySpace, Yahoo, and Vine respectively. And that's how they're doing it. For the same reason, a franchise like Starbucks is doing exceptionally well. Making coffee with milk couldn't possibly be that challenging, but what makes them millions of dollars is how they carried out their vision. Number 5. Happiness from earning money has no upper limit. There is currently no grade higher than A+ that you may receive in terms of grades. Therefore, you would feel very happy if you received that grade. But there is no upper limit when it comes to money. It's always possible to make more money. No matter how much money we currently make, we'll always desire more for the same reason. When people are questioned about what their ideal wage would be, the responses are generally consistent, always greater than what they are now earning. People with annual incomes of $30,000 would say that $50,000 would be their ideal income. People who make over $100,000 claim that they would need $250,000 to be content. And even if such people were to achieve their ideal wealth and salary, their wants would only grow. We'll never be completely content when it comes to money. But why do we believe we constantly require a bit more? Well, it's due to a theory known as hedonic adaptation. Consider a scenario in which you earn $30,000 a year and are subsequently employed for a position paying $50,000. What would you think? It's quite good, yeah? Now, the error would be to believe that you will always feel that way. Your happiness would certainly increase, but it would pass quickly. You would become used to this increased salary over the course of the following several months. In essence, your new level of wealth would become the new norm for you. And in order to feel happier once more, you would need a raise or a position with a higher salary. Until, of course, you get accustomed to it once more as you did before. We're halfway through the video. If this video is something you're enjoying and finding useful so far, please support it by clicking the like button. Now, back to the video. Number 6. Money and material possessions do not provide long-term happiness. Contrary to popular opinion, material items and money don't make us happy for very long. Instead, they provide us with some temporary satisfaction while we adjust and come to believe that we deserve better. This kind of adaptation is positive though. Adaptation is excellent if your life circumstances are less favorable. Imagine that you were involved in a vehicular accident and were forced to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. In fact, in a well-known study, the degrees of enjoyment of lottery winners and paraplegics were compared. It is interesting to note that their degrees of happiness weren't all that different a year after their occurrences that changed their lives. There is little doubt that the lottery winners would report extreme happiness if you asked them about their feelings immediately after winning. And if you took a survey of those who were involved in the accident to gauge how they were feeling at the time, you'd discover that their rating was as low as possible. However, both the lottery winners and the paraplegics adapted to their new lives with time. Their happiness then roughly restored to where it had been prior to their life-altering experiences. The lottery winners were nonetheless happier than the accident victims, just not by as much as one might expect. Make no mistake about it. As you can see, adapting is highly helpful if you're not as fortunate. Number 7. Make money while you're sleeping if you want to become wealthy. Due to the fact that we all have the same amount of time, it is a common resource. There are 24 hours in a day for everyone to do anything they choose. So, how did the wealthy manage it? They have people do things for them, since they are fully aware that they cannot accomplish everything themselves. Who says you should be the only one capable of creating wealth? You can create a machine that generates income for you without having to be the one doing the earning. Life is much more than just working and squeezing by to pay the bills. There is so much more to life. So, keep it in mind when you try to balance a 9-to-5 work, your family and friends, and getting enough sleep. Another person is out there, unwinding comfortably and watching their account get richer by the minute. All of this is the essence of passive income. Passive income is achieved after investing an initial financial, labor, or time investment into something that would eventually earn money as time passes by. The best example of this is creating a YouTube channel. After pouring in some effort and time into creating videos, you'll earn money as people around the world watches them. Your income grows as well, as long as you keep making amazing content for your dedicated viewers. Number 8. Don't rush to spend your hard-earned money. Although those with lots of money experience happiness, many of them have lost the ability to enjoy the little things in life. Simply put, things like a cup of hot coffee in the morning or a beautiful sunset aren't as delightful as they once were. This occurs because lottery winners frequently rush to buy the best things in life has to offer with their winnings, and overnight, their standards rise. When you have the best experiences, what you once thought was wonderful is no longer good. Instead, it is viewed as less than ideal. Your new benchmark is the very best. Another way to look at this: if your first car is a $50,000 BMW, how would you feel about driving a $50,000 Ferrari? I doubt it's all that wonderful. Your standards would be so high that anything less than a car costing $500,000 would be considered a degradation. And this is the experience of lottery winners. If your happiness is important to you, hold off on spending any large sums of money that you may come into. Otherwise, you risk quickly raising your standards so high that something that formerly brought you joy will no longer do so. Or, at the very least, there will be less of it. Number 9. Wealth develops throughout time. Poor people frequently have the idea that their luck changes and they suddenly hit it rich. They constantly try their luck by purchasing lottery tickets in the hopes of winning the big prize, but it doesn't work that way. Do you know any wealthy people who play the lottery? Well, that's because they're occupied trying to increase their money on their own. Building riches takes time and effort. It requires time. There's this misconception that you need large sums of money in order to increase your income. With minimal money, you may launch a modest business that will eventually turn a profit. Initially, you might not notice any benefits, but with time, you'll benefit from them. Brick by brick, a wall is constructed, so quit waiting for someone else to make you wealthy. And finally, achieve happiness by spending your money on experiences. Things like going out to a romantic dinner with your beloved, visiting an amusement park, or going to a concert. Because these experiences are typically brief, we don't fully adapt to them. After all, you can't grow accustomed to a single concert. However, bear in mind that if you start eating out frequently, it will no longer be seen as an experience. You will adjust to the shift in lifestyle and treat it like any other day. Keep your opulent experiences infrequent in order to avoid falling into this trap. If a satisfying meal doesn't leave you feeling well, what is the point? The cost of other people is another item we may spend our money on. Since you typically think about spending money on yourself when you consider spending money, this may seem counterintuitive. However, studies have shown that people are happier when they spend money on others as opposed to themselves. And it makes no difference how the money is used. It could be a token donation or even just a modest gift. It is also irrelevant how much of it was used. Giving itself has value, not receiving it. You have a better day by making someone else's day better. Now that you have some goals in mind in order to make the best out of your money in your quest for happiness, you should get started now. But before you go, be sure to give this video a like if you learned something from it. Looking forward to seeing more content like this? Smash the subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you won't miss any of our future uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time,